in association with Bricks and Streetwear, delighted to be joined with Savannah Marshall, the WBO middleweight world champion. Savannah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. Glad that session's over. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, wicked. I saw on your Instagram you've been doing a bit of swimming in the sea. Is that sort of saving a bit of money on these cryo chambers that all these sort of boxers spend a lot of money on? Is that why? Or?
No, my old amateur coach is big into this whole like the Wim Hof theory. You know, the whole ice.
Yeah.
So he's been going in the sea every day since early February. And his body shape, God, he's just totally ripped up. And he's saying he hasn't changed anything. He said it's just from going in the sea every day.
That's where you're going wrong, man.
Is it as painful as it looks?
Oh, I
can imagine.
Yeah, it is. But he said it gets easier. Like now he doesn't even, he just goes straight. And where me, I have to like go up my knees. Couple of minutes, go up my waist, couple of minutes. I have to adjust.
Acclimatise yourself to the sea.
So we saw you last out back in April, which isn't long ago. Are you one of these fighters who doesn't really have much time off in between fights? You like to get straight back in the gym and get back to business as soon as possible?
Yeah, I think for me, when we see them fighters that have months out, and to be honest, I'd love to be one of them fighters, but for me it takes too long to come back. I feel like I lose too much fitness, and when I fight, I always think, right, there's stuff I need to work on, technical wise, and I enjoy it. I really enjoy training. If I don't train, I get agitated, I get a bit snappy, so it's the best place for me, really.
I mean, now things seem to be returning back to normal. I mean, COVID has been a bit of a nightmare, obviously for you, as it is for lots of people, but when it comes to boxing, obviously you've had to pull out of a fight with COVID, you've had an opponent pull out in the last minute. I mean, are you glad that things are sort of, touch wood, returning back to normal?
If one thing I've learned from this COVID is you can't
take things for granted.
Yeah, and you can't rely on what the government's saying. Like, I went to London at the weekend, just Sunday, Monday for bank holiday, and I went to go see a show, and it was great. There was 1,500 people in this arena, and it was just great, just to like hear the people laughing, and it was really good. And then you come out and you see, I was watching the news this morning, and infections are starting to go up again, and you think, God, we're going to be on lockdown before you know it.
Yeah. I mean, from a boxing perspective, just tell us, what's it like having a change of opponent the week of the fight? Just tell us, how's that?
It does mess with your mind a bit, but for me, I was an international boxer for so long. 8 years I was an international boxer, and you'd turn up to tournaments, find out on the day who you were boxing, and then obviously you wouldn't know till the morning who you were boxing because of how the tournament was going and things like that. So I think I've got a bit of experience in that, but it does mess with your head a little bit.
Are you on like BoxRec, on your phone, like, searching them up, looking at their record? Is that what you're doing, like the lead up?
I do, yeah. And then before you know it, you've gone on to another opponent,
yeah.
See who's beat
You've got in that boxing rabbit hole,
yeah. Oh well, she got beat off someone who 5 fights previous got stopped off so-and-so, so yeah. It's better off just keeping off it.
Definitely. I mean, you obviously, won the world title, you've defended it successfully. Is sort of the next step now waiting for the big names to present themselves? Is that what you're hoping for next now?
I am, yeah, but unfortunately with me, because I'm a high weight in the women's game, there's not that many, the pool's shallower, so it seems, the champions at my weight are either fighting other people or they've got things going on. I mean, one of them's campaigning for the Olympics. So she's got qualifiers next week, so we wait to see how she gets on there. And it just the pool's so small, so it's harder, I think, rather than you see some of the lighter weights or even the men. There's that many champions, international champions.
I mean, it's like Tasha Jonas go up and down, Katie Taylor's gone up and down. So that's the sort of difference with the middleweight, isn't it?
I just want to say, Sal, we're not stalking you on Insta, but we also saw on your Instagram that there's fight news coming soon. Now, I know you can't tell us who, but is it a big fight?
Yeah, it is a big fight. The IBF is currently vacant at my weight, so hopefully it'll be for that.
Oh, wicked. I mean, sort of the next question we just touched on. I mean, do you think that, you know, the pool of sort of female boxers at the heavyweights is a little shallow, and, you know, what and is this why you need to fight, you know, these big names as quick as you can?
Yeah, it's not so much just the big names. It's just finding, for me, a tough, like a decent test, because there is only one or two. It's the same with most of the women's weights. There's one or two that are elite, and then the drop seems to be so big. Like it's not like the men's where you've got the European level, British level. For the women's, it just seems to be the one or two that are at world elite level, and then there's a massive drop.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, you either fight one of the elite or you're fighting a novice.
Yeah.
So
And you get the people on social media then rolling, can't believe she's fighting
they call
this
me the granny
person."
basher now. That's what they call me on Twitter. The granny basher.
Savannah, the granny basher Marshall.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Catching on.
Yeah.
That's got to go on a t-shirt. That's got to go on a t-shirt. Well, we've got to obviously mention the name that I'm sure you're sick of hearing about. You probably heard it a million times a day. But obviously, Claressa Shields. When is that fight going to happen? So we know you won it, but just is it that a little bit closer? Where are we standing with that fight now?
So that'll be back end of the year, October, November time. I'm fighting back end of July. I know she's fighting soon, I think. I think she's fighting next week.
It's like an MMA.
Is that the MMA
Yeah.
fight? Yeah.
And then I seen the other day on Twitter that she's got another one in August. So November it is.
November it is.
I mean, she's very vocal online, as I'm sure, you know, you're aware. Does it get on your nerves a bit, you know, with all this beef malarkey on social media, or do you just sort of crack on with it?
We're actually really good friends.
Really?
I don't know how many times she's requested me as a friend on Facebook. I'm like, decline. Not today. Give it up. No, it's who she is. It's a character, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
like a pantomime villain
yeah,
sort of thing.
and I think she's quite funny. She's quite comical, and you need people like that. Been a couple of times she says stuff on Twitter, and I just think, God, why hasn't none of your mates just took your phone off her? Do you know what I mean? Why isn't your fella just like change your password on your phone? Because some of the stuff she comes out with, I just think, you can't be right in the head. She can't be well.
I mean, obviously everybody refers back to, you know, you beating her in the amateur days, and everybody talks over it. We've heard the phrase put about over social media that you sort of live in her head a bit rent-free. Are you of that opinion as well? Do you think it really does get on her nerves and bother her?
I don't. Well, I think if I was in her shoes, I'd be like, Savannah Marshall, who, do you know, I'll take that shot next week. I'm undisputed champion at 3 weights, but instead it's, I'm gonna go and do a bit of MMA, and then, you know, I want this much money, and we'll see what weight. But if it was me, I'd be like, right, yeah, you think you're better than me? Come on, let's have it. I'll box you next week. So, but she needs time and whatever she's got going on.
I mean, the MMA thing, do you think it is her saying, oh, I want a new challenge, I want to go out and challenge myself here? Or do you see it maybe, like you just said, is there a bit of avoidance going on there? Do you think, you know, these new challenges, I want to go into UFC and see how good I can be there? You know, how do you take that?
No, to be honest, I do think fair play to her, because I think at the minute, not just at MMA, but if you look at the UFC, I think it's light years in front of female professional boxing. I really do, and I think she's wanting a bit of that publicity, a bit of the exposure, and yeah, maybe even the challenge, because she has boxed everyone who's been put in front of her, and really there's only me left. So I think once she's had a little thing in what she's in the MMA, I think she'll come back, and then I don't think she'll ever want to box again after I beat her.
Do you think she's secretly hoping, though, in between all this malarkey, that you're going to get a fight and maybe lose, so maybe she isn't going to take you?
Well, no. Well, really, why would she be thinking that? Because I'm her biggest fight in boxing.
True.
So if anything, she should be wishing me well.
I mean, it's obviously such a huge fight within boxing, and Eddie, I think, has said, you know, it's big enough to be a standalone fight pay-per-view. Maybe as it's the biggest female boxing fight around at the moment. I mean, is that, of your opinion as well, you think that is a fight that should be, you know, headlining a big show, possibly being a pay-per-view fight as well?
Yeah, 100%. not just because of our history, but because of her character. Because of my character, I'm quiet and keep myself to myself, and she's, oh, I'm this goat. And I think she has got a lot of people that want to see her lose, like the whole Mayweather effect.
Yeah.
So I do think it's got the potential to be, if it's promoted properly. I know recently she done a pay-per-view and it kind of went under the radar, but I do think the fight between me and her, if it is promoted properly, it would be massive.
Definitely. I mean, boxing's all about timing, and you know, a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Do you, looking at where you are now, do you think you're maybe in a better place than maybe where she is, you know, psychologically, physically, within boxing?
I'm not sure. I think you could say she's achieved everything she set out to achieve, and she's went down the MMA route because, like I said, there's only me left. But I don't know personally. But like I said, if anyone goes by what she writes on Twitter, I think that she needs some help.
I mean, obviously you've said that, you know, how much you want this fight, and you know, it's a fight we all hope can happen. I'm sure your trainer, Mr. Peter Fury, as well, is of the same opinion. He wants to get this fight on now as soon as possible, and has got full confidence that now is the right time to get this fight happening.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not under no illusion or I'm to speak what I think. And they offered me the fight about 3 years ago, and I remember Peter saying, "Oh, the Claressa's team have reached out," said, "But I don't want you to take it because you're not a champion. She's a champion. This fight needs building up. You're the only two big names at the higher weights, so let's do it properly." And 3 years down the line, he's right, and we're on the fringe of it becoming a massive fight.
Definitely. I've got to ask you as well, you were in quite an awkward situation in the bubble a few weeks back with Ebony Bridges.
You know what's coming, don't you?
and Shannon Courtney. On a scale of 1 to 10, how awkward did you feel?
You
You just sat there thinking, what was going to happen here?
I actually got a shock with Ebony because just from what I'd picked up, as you say, you should never judge a book by the cover, and I kind of did fall in that, and I'd seen some of the stuff she was putting on Twitter, and I think, oh, I don't know if she's my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I met her in person, she's the most genuine, say it how it is person I've ever come across, and I am a big fan of Ebony. And
She likes to swear with it as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I say it was effing this and effing that, but that was the first time I'd met her, and I was walking through reception, she literally jumped up, threw her arms around me, and I was like, I hope people don't think I'm supporting the foreigner. But yeah, it was awkward, but it was good crack.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She's good crack, and also Shannon as well. I think to be honest, at the press conference, I was thinking, oh, Ebony's gonna hammer Shannon here. But she never. Shannon played it smart and switched it round, and but it was brilliant. It was especially Ebony really surprised me. To be fair, I thought Shannon would have had quite an easy fight for her, but she didn't. I don't think you could have argued if it would have went either way.
No, definitely.
And it was another fight as well, wasn't it? I mean, we keep seeing it so much now. It was another fantastic advocate for women's boxing, you know, and we keep seeing them regularly. Seems week in, week out now we see fantastic women's fights, which is great, you know.
It is, and for me personally, I think it's got a lot to do with the 2-minute rounds, you know, because even me, I'm a boxer, and I get bored. You see some of the men and they're doing 12 threes and 6 rounds in there, and that's happened. Do you know what I mean? But with a woman, because you've only got 2 minutes,
You're going to win the round, haven't you?
It's non-stop.
Yeah.
So I do think the 2 minutes has helped a lot.
Just lastly, before we leave you go, Savannah, just tell us personally for you, I mean, you've sort of touched upon it, but what does the perfect sort of 2021 rest of the year and maybe beyond look like for you?
I've got this fantasy where I remember seeing...
Steady on now. Where's this going?
It's not that
Bills,
right.
this is
It's not that right. It's boring actually, but I remember when there was a photo of Anthony Joshua, and he had all the belts like that, and I've always because I've got one, it's every year I was thinking, oh, I'd love to be able to go like that with all 4 belts. The Ring magazine round here. So that's me. That's it. So hopefully...
Photoshop
As
that.
I say, can we use that as our clickbait? I've got a fantasy, and we just leave it at that.
I probably won't even be able to get them all up, it'll be like that. But yeah, just to be able to go like all that and just think, yeah, I'm the undisputed champion.
do a Josh Taylor then.
Yes, Josh Taylor.
Definitely. Well, Savannah, thanks so much for your time today, and on behalf of Southwest Boxing Media, we wish you all the best for 2021, and let's hope that fantasy materialises.
Let's hope.
Thank you for your time, Savannah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.